So good afternoon to all. In last class already we see the generation of FM in way of direct method. So already I told you in generation of FM we can have two techniques, that is direct method and indirect method. So again in direct method we have two types, that is reactance modulator and another one is varactor diode modulators. So already we observed both those methods. So in both methods, we have the main block diagram as voltage control oscillator. Internally, it have tank circuit. Already I told you. So that is the tank circuit is a combination of inductor and capacitor. So this VCO generates the frequency according to the tank circuit components. According to the tank circuit components, this VCO generates the frequency. So with that, we generate the FM. So with the help of VCO, we generate the FM signal. So the another method is varactor diode method. In varactor diode method, here we use a varactor diode. That is the capacitance of this diode is directly depends upon the applied input voltage. Applied input voltage. Here, what is the applied input voltage? The message signal, x of t. So depending upon the message signal amplitude, the capacitance value is changes. By changing this capacitance value, we change the frequency of the generated signal. So according to this formula, already here we have a tank circuit. In parallel with the tank circuit, we have a varactor diode. So the varactor diode capacitance is varies. Automatically the frequency generated by this tank circuit is varies. So according to that, so we have a formula Fi equal to, that is instantaneous frequency equal to 1 by 2 pi root of L1 plus L2 into C plus C dash. What is C dash? Capacitance of varactor diode. So, but what is the capacitance of varactor diode and which parameter it depends? It depends upon the distance between the two plates or width of the two plates. So totally, since these two parameters is inversely proportional, whenever the input voltage, suppose if we have a positive cycle at the input voltage, automatically the diode becomes reverse bias. So whenever positive cycle for the modulating signal, the end becomes here positive and here it becomes negative. So automatically positive is connected to cathode and negative is connected to anode. So totally diode becomes reverse bias. So already you know, whenever the diode becomes reverse bias, automatically the junction capacitance becomes increases. The junction capacitance becomes increases and we have a more distance between these two plates. So whenever the width increases, automatically the capacitance is decreases. Whenever the capacitance decreases, automatically the Fi is increases. So according to that principle based, the second type of principle is depends. So that is varactor diode technique. So totally in both these techniques we use a LC oscillators. What is the tank circuit? So in tank circuit we use a LC oscillator. But here we have in direct method we have some drawbacks. So in today's class we discuss about the drawbacks of direct method. So after that we go to indirect method of FM generation. So what is the another name for indirect method? So which is also called Armstrong method. So first you note down the drawbacks of direct method. So here we mainly have two drawbacks. Note down the first drawback. So in this material, these drawbacks are not mentioned. So note down in your notes. Drawbacks of direct method. So it is very, very important for short answer. First, you note down the drawbacks of direct method. The direct method of FM generation in direct method of FM generation, it is not easy to get a high order stability in carrier frequency. Easy to get a high order stability in carrier frequency. This is due to the generation of carrier signal is directly affected by the generation of carrier signal is directly affected by the baseband or modulating signal. Baseband or modulating signal. The baseband signal directly controls the tank circuit. The baseband signal directly controls the tank circuit. Of the carrier generator. Of the carrier generator, and thus a stable oscillator circuit. And thus a stable oscillator circuit cannot be used. Cannot be used. This means that the carrier generation cannot be. This means that the carrier generation cannot be of high stability which is a necessary requirement. Which is a necessary requirement. A solution to this problem is indirect method. That is Armstrong method of FM generation. In this method, the carrier oscillator does not respond to the modulating signal directly. In this method, stable crystal oscillator is used. To generate carrier signal. If you observe the first drawback, what is the first drawback? Here we have where we lost high order stability in carrier frequency. What is meant by high order stability in carrier frequency? If you observe in both of these methods, we use a LC circuit, tank circuit as LC circuit. At higher frequencies, there may be a chance of variation of values of inductors and capacitors. So that's why here we got we lost a higher order stability. So to remove that high order stability in indirect method of FM generation, we go to a crystal oscillator. In place of tank circuit, we use a crystal oscillator. Already, I think in EDC, you study about different types of oscillators. Now, if you observe the Colpitts oscillator and Hartley oscillator, both oscillators uses tank circuits are inductors and capacitors. So I think you remember that. If you observe Colpitts oscillator and Hartley oscillator, both the tank circuits consists of inductors and capacitors. But whereas coming to the crystal oscillator, crystal is used as the main component. That crystal does not have a high stability. That crystal have a high stability at higher frequencies. So that's why in direct method here the main point is in direct method we use a tank circuits. The tank circuits is a combination of inductors and capacitors. So at high frequencies there may be a chance of losing of stability, losing of stability. But that losing of stability is a drawback. So that's why in indirect method, that is in Armstrong method, we use a local oscillator as crystal oscillator to generate the carrier. So to generate the carrier, we use a crystal oscillator. Already you know crystal oscillator have high stability compared to normal LC oscillators, normal LC oscillators. So that's why the main drawback of direct method is we lost a stability. We lost a stability. So that is main drawback. So second one, note down the second drawback. The nonlinearity of the varactor diode. The nonlinearity of the varactor diode produces a frequency variation. The nonlinearity of the varactor diode produces a frequency variation. Due to harmonics of the modulating signal. Due to harmonics of the modulating signal. And therefore the FM signal is distorted. And therefore the FM signal is distorted. So already I think you know varactor diode is a nonlinearity property device. So varactor diode is a nonlinearity property device. So it produces a frequency variation due to harmonics of modulating signal. So what is meant by harmonics? Already I think if the message signal is FM, if the message signal is FM, FM plus F delta, FM plus 2 delta, that is the deviations. So those harmonics are delivered at different frequencies. So due to that harmonics, we have a frequency deviation. We have a frequency deviation. Yeah, how we got this harmonics due to the nonlinearity property of varactor diode. So in the second method, we use the varactor diode. So that's why here we got a frequency deviation due to the harmonics of a modulating signal. So therefore here we got a distorted FM signal. Therefore here we got a distorted FM signal. So but in the indirect method, we does not use any nonlinear device. So that's why here we can rectify this FM distorted signal. So here in direct method, we have mainly two drawbacks. That is the first drawback is stability losing and second drawback is due to the using of nonlinearity of the varactor diode. Here we got some FM distorted signal. So in direct method, we can rectify both these two drawbacks. So now coming to the indirect method of FM generation. Now put aside heading indirect method of FM generation. So what is the another name for this one? Armstrong method. Armstrong method. So the main difference you must remember is in direct method we use LC oscillators. In direct method we use LC oscillators. That is a combination of inductors and capacitors. In tank circuit we use a combination of inductors and capacitors. Those tank circuits does not have high stability. But whereas in case of indirect method, here we use crystal oscillators. To generate carrier, here we use crystal oscillators which have high stability. which have high stability. So that is the main difference between direct and indirect methods. So what is the main principle here? In this method, the first we generate a narrow band frequency modulation. We generate a narrow band frequency modulated signal. From that signal, we generate wideband with the help of frequency multipliers. With the help of frequency multipliers. So that's why it is called indirect method. In this technique, the wideband frequency modulated signal does not directly generated. First, we generate narrow band frequency modulating signal. So after that, by passing through frequency multiplier circuit, we got a wideband signal. We got a wideband signal. That's why this technique is called indirect method. That's why this technique is called indirect method. So draw the block diagram. The first block is narrow band FM. The first block is narrow band FM, which have two inputs. One is a message signal, M of t, and carrier signal, C of t. So this narrowband FM have internally different blocks like crystal oscillator, buffer, product modulator, 90 degrees phase shifter. Once you refer Analog Communications by Sanjay Sharma textbook. So in the textbook we have depth circuit. So that is the narrowband FM internally have different blocks to generate narrowband signal. But what are the main signals? This carrier is always, this carrier is generated from the local oscillator. And here we have message signal. By connecting to narrowband frequency modulated, here we got a final signal that is S of t, which is a narrowband frequency modulated signal. So to generate this S of t, internally this circuit have so many blocks. After that signal, that is narrowband is signal is given to frequency multiplier circuit. So it is a combination of group of multipliers. So inside this multiplier, here we have different multiplier circuits. Already you know the difference between narrowband and wideband. So in narrowband, we have only two sidebands, that is upper sideband, that is Fc plus delta omega, and lower sideband, that is Fc minus delta omega. But in case of wideband, we got a infinite number of sidebands. How we got that infinite number of sidebands? With the help of multipliers. Here we got infinite number of sidebands. So to change the narrow band into wide band, the main circuit here we used is frequency multipliers. So in indirect method, the wideband FM is not directly generated. First we generate a narrow band. After that, it is converted into wideband by passing through frequency multiplier circuits. Already you know narrow band consists of only upper sideband and lower sideband. If the carrier is Fc, what is the upper sideband? Fc plus delta omega and Fc minus delta omega. So to change into infinite sidebands, here we use the frequency multiplier circuit. Then the signal narrowband is converted to wideband. So that's why this method is called indirect method. Here we observe with the help of mathematical analysis how the narrowband is converted into wideband. So let us consider the signal. Message signal is M of t is Vm cos omega mt. Let us take the message signal M of t is Vm cos omega mt. and the carrier signal is AC cos omega CT. AC cos omega CT, which are applied to inputs of narrowband FM. Which are applied to inputs of narrowband FM. Already you know the signal of narrowband. What is the signal at the narrowband? Already in narrowband FM, we observe the signal. So at the output of narrowband FM, we have the signal like this. We have the signal like this, that is A cos omega CT plus MF sin omega MT. MF sin omega MT. Put this as equation number 1. Put this as equation number 1. Already you know the instantaneous frequency, which is equal to, it is directly proportional to Kf, that is a frequency sensitivity factor, and it is varies in accordance with the modulating signal. Therefore, we can write it as Fi equal to Fc plus Kf into X of t or M of t. You take any one. But from the starting, we can mention the message signal as M of t. So that's why you can consider this M of t. M of t. So this is what is S of t? So S of t is a narrowband FM, narrowband FM signal. Narrowband FM signal. Now, this signal is applied to frequency multiplier circuit. But internally in the frequency multiplier circuit, here we have a square law device. Square law device. Internally, this frequency multipliers device consists of a square law devices, that is non-linear devices like diodes like that. So totally frequency multiplier internally consists of a non-linear devices, and after that we have a band pass filter. We have a band pass filter. So totally these two blocks consists of frequency multiplier. These two blocks are combinedly known as frequency multiplier. So now what is the input for this frequency multiplier? Here we have a narrowband FM. Here we have a narrowband FM. Already you know the input and output relationship between nonlinear device, which is in the form of A1 S of t plus A2 S square t plus A3 S cube t. Already you know the relationship between input and output voltages whenever the signal is passed through nonlinear device. So what is A1, A2 and A3, so on AN? These are the coefficients. These are the coefficients, and N is the high order of nonlinearity. N is the high order of nonlinearity. If we substitute signal S of t, what is our original signal? This one. A cos omega CT plus M of sin omega MT. Take this as equation number 1. And this nonlinearity property is considered as the equation number 2. If we substitute equation number 1 and equation number 2, by substituting equation 1 in equation 2, that is in place of S of t, we take a signal. Then we have a different frequency, different carrier frequencies, that is F1, 2F1, 3F1, so on NF1, so on NF1. With the frequency deviations of delta F1, 2 delta F1, 3 delta F1, so on N delta F1. So that from this analysis, we can say that the output of frequency multiplier produces different sidebands. Different sidebands, that is infinite sidebands, which have the frequencies say f1, 2f1, 3f1, so on, nf1, with frequency deviations of delta f1, 2 delta f1, and 3 delta f1, so on, n delta f1. So that is whenever the narrowband FM passing through frequency multiplier circuits, automatically it is converted into wideband FM signal. Wideband FM signal. So the wideband signal can be written in the form of S of t wideband FM is equal to A cos n omega ct. Here n omega ct means here we have a different carriers F1, 2F1, 3F1, so on, and F1. With the frequency deviation of delta F1, 2 delta F1 like that. So that's why the signal can be written as A cos n omega ct plus nkf. Write it here, nkf. Kf sin omega mt. nkf sin omega mt. In this way, the narrow band is converted into wideband. So in the main principle in indirect method is, first of all, we generate the narrow band. After that, it is applied to frequency multiplier circuit. So at the output of frequency multipliers, we got the wideband signal. So the frequency multiplier internally have a nonlinear devices, nonlinear device, and local oscillators, which is crystal oscillators to got high stability. So after that, to got a required sidebands, here we use a band pass filter. So according to this analysis, we can convert the narrow band signal into wideband signal. So this is the generation of FM with the help of indirect method, which is also called Armstrong method, So these are the FM generation techniques. In exam point of view, very, very important. Now go through demodulation of FM. Put aside heading, demodulation of FM or detection of FM signals. Detection of FM signals. Before going to this topic, here we have some requirements for every FM demodulator. Here we have some requirements. What are the requirements for FM demodulator? So note down that requirements. That is, the detector must maintain that parameters. So note down that requirements of FM demodulator. Requirements of FM demodulator. The first one is, it must convert frequency variations into amplitude variations. The first one is, it must convert frequency variations into amplitude variations. And second requirement is, this conversion must be linear and efficient. This conversion must be linear and efficient. And third requirement is, the demodulator circuit should be insensitive to amplitude changes. Insensitive to amplitude changes. It responds only to frequency changes. It responds only to frequency changes. So these are the requirements for FM demodulator. What is the first requirement of FM demodulator? The first step is we must convert the frequency variations into amplitude variations. So that is, in FM detection, what is the FM modulation method? The frequency of the carrier is changes in accordance with the instantaneous value of the message signal. The frequency of carrier is changes in accordance with the instantaneous value of message signal. There is no change in amplitude of the carrier. There is no change in amplitude of the carrier. But to got original message signal, so that is from FM signal to original message signal, the first step is the signal must be converted into amplitude variations. That is, the FM signal must be converted into amplitude variations. That is the first step. After that, the conversion must be linear and efficient. The conversion must be linear and efficient. And third requirement is the demodulator circuit should be insensitive to amplitude variations. So amplitude variations ki aa circuit respond avakunda undali. It must be sensitive only for frequency changes. Because in frequency changes only we got a message signal. We have a message signal. So what is meant by FM? FM is carrier frequencies changes. So that's why the circuit, the demodulator must respond only frequency variations. It does not respond to amplitude changes. It does not respond to amplitude changes. So these are the requirements for demodulator circuits. So now coming to the types of demodulators, FM demodulators. So note down the types. So in the FM detection also there are two types of demodulator circuits. The first one is direct method, again indirect method. So FM detection is also done in two ways, direct method and indirect method. The direct method is also called frequency discrimination method. FM method, direct method is also called frequency discrimination method. And indirect method is also called phase discrimination method. So the FM detection is done in two ways, that is direct method and indirect method. Direct method is also called frequency discrimination method. And indirect method is also called phase discrimination method. Phase discrimination method. So again in direct method, here we have two types, that is first one is slope detection method. Slope detection method. Second one is balanced slope detector method. Slope detection method, first one. Second one is balanced detector, which is also called balanced slope detector. Now coming to indirect method, it is also called phase discrimination method. So in this we have PLL method, that is phase locked loop method, which is also called a synchronous method. Phase locked loop method, which is also called a synchronous method. Don't confuse with names. In exam, they ask in different ways. So the FM detection have two types, that is direct method and indirect method. Direct method is also called frequency discrimination method. In frequency discrimination, the first technique is slope detection technique and second technique is balanced slope detection. In indirect method, we have one technique that is PLL method, which is also called synchronous method. Now coming to first technique, that is slope detection method. Put aside heading, slope detection method. So these FM detectors are very, very important. You remember one point, FM generation and FM detection techniques are very, very important in exam point of view. So don't miss any technique. Don't miss any technique. You study every block diagram and every method. So coming to the block diagram of slope detection method. It mainly consists of two blocks. The first block is selective circuit, frequency selective circuit. Already you think you know frequency selective circuit is nothing but tuned circuit. That is a combination of inductor and capacitor. Tuned circuit. After that, the second block is envelope detector. Remember once again, what is the main requirement, the first requirement of FM demodulator? So before starting this topic, I already told you the requirements of FM demodulator. What is the first requirement of FM demodulator? It must convert frequency variations to amplitude variations. The discriminator circuit, detector circuit is also called a discriminator circuit. So the discriminator circuit must first convert the frequency variations to amplitude variations. So frequency variations is called, which is nothing but FM, and amplitude variations is nothing but AM. So to demodulate FM signal, already I think you know what is demodulation, to got our original message signal. So what is FM demodulation? From the FM signal, we got original message signal. We take original message signal. So now what is the input for FM discriminator circuit or FM detector circuit? Input signal must be FM signal. So from this FM signal, we take the original message signal. That is M of t. So this is the representation of message signal. So what is S of t here? S of t is a FM modulated signal. That is for positive amplitude we send one frequency and for negative amplitude we send another frequency. Directly we cannot recover the message signal from this frequency variations. Directly we cannot get message signal. We cannot recover our original message signal from this frequency variations. So that's why here this frequency variations must convert to amplitude variations. So the main principle which is used in discriminator circuit is first the frequency variations must converted into amplitude variations. From that amplitude variations, we got our original message signal. Now here the first block used is tuned circuit to convert frequency variations into amplitude variations. That is the first step is FM signal is converted into AM signal. What is meant by amplitude variations? Amplitude variations is nothing but AM signal. So that's why the tuned amplifier must perform, it converts FM to AM signal. So that's why here the symbol representation is FM signal and here the symbol representation is AM signal. So from this AM signal, we recover our original message signal through envelope detector, by passing through envelope detector. Already you know this technique. in AM demodulator circuits, we have a envelope detector circuit in which the main component used is diode and capacitor. So with the help of diode, we got our original message signal with the help of diode, that is by the operation of by forward biasing and reverse biasing of diode. We have a charging and discharging of capacitors. Due to the charging and discharging, we got some output voltage at the tuned circuit. So totally in the envelope detector, we have a internal blocks are diodes and tuned circuits. Already you study in case of AM demodulator circuits. So again, after passing the AM signal through this envelope detector, we got our original message signal. Already, I think you know this principle. I think you know the operation of this circuit. Here the main point is you just understand how these frequency variations are converted into amplitude variations with the help of tuned circuit, which is also called frequency selective circuits. And also called tank circuits. So for that purpose, so this is the circuit diagram. For this one. So that is 1 second. So this one. So in the place of tuned amplifier, we have a tank circuit. So which is a combination of inductor and capacitor. Already you think, I think you know envelope detector, it is a combination of diode and capacitor. At the output we have a load resistor. At that load we take a message signal. So this one, the first diagram is a block diagram. So the block diagram mainly consists of two stages. That is, the first stage is tuned amplifier stage and second stage is envelope detector stage. So what is the circuit for that block diagram? Tuned amplifier is nothing but parallel combination of inductor and capacitor. Envelope detector is nothing but diode and capacitor. Here we have a load resistor to take the original message signal. So now what is the input for this discriminator or detector circuit? FM signal. So with the help of this tuned circuit, the FM signal is converted into AM signal. After that from that AM we construct the message signal with the help of envelope detector. So now you know this process, envelope detection process. What is the new technique here? How FM is converted into AM. So for this purpose, we take the frequency response of tuned circuit. So for that, first take the message signal. So which have the frequency, which have the amplitude of +2 volts and -2 volts. Draw these waveforms. After that, you take the carrier signal with a constant amplitude. In this figure, he does not mention carrier. You mention carrier signal also with a constant amplitude and frequency. Now we draw FM signal, that is frequency modulated signal. So for positive cycle of message signal, we got a high frequency signal, and for negative, we have a low frequency signal. Whenever the signal is passed through tuned circuit, whenever these frequency variations are passed through tuned circuit have some response which must have some resonance frequency, already I think you know the tank circuit have resonance frequency. Suppose for this tank circuit, if the resonance frequency is considered as 1800, and at the resonance frequency it must maintain a gain of unity. So if you draw the frequency response, what is the frequency response? Frequency versus gain. So in case of oscillators, I think you observe in EDC lab the response. So at the resonant frequency, we got a unity gain. So at which the gain becomes 1 by root 2 times of its maximum gain. Then those 2 points are considered as upper cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency. And at that frequency, we consider the gain as 0.7. At that point, we consider the gain as 0.7. Suppose if you take a positive cycle, that is for this frequency. Whenever this frequency is passed through this tuned amplifier, automatically it generates some gain. So to guard the output voltage, already I think you know gain equal to output voltage by input voltage. Now what is output voltage? Output voltage is equal to gain into input voltage. If the carrier have 10 volts input amplitude, that is peak to peak, it have a 20 volts amplitude, then that 20 into 0.7 is considered as a output voltage amplitude. That is V naught equal to gain into input voltage. What is the input voltage amplitude? Suppose if it is a 10 volts, then 10 into 0.7. 10 into 0.7. Suppose this frequency is 1600 kilohertz. So that 1600 kilohertz corresponding gain is what is that? 0.7. So totally, what is the output voltage when the signal is bypassing through tank circuit? Then the output voltage V naught equal to 0.7 into 10. Then it is nothing but 7 volts. Next, again for this frequency, suppose here we pass this frequency through tuned circuit. Then for this frequency, this is a minimum frequency. Suppose if it is considered as a 200 kilohertz. So for 200 kilohertz, the tank circuit have a gain of 0.2. Then what is the output voltage? Again 0.2 into minimum voltage. We have some output voltage. So totally, by passing through frequency variations through tank circuit, we got a amplitude variations. That is, V naught is presented in the form of amplitude variations. So that's why the corresponding frequency is converted into amplitude variations by passing through tuned amplifier circuit. So that here the main step is, whenever the tuned amplifier have a particular response, corresponding frequency is converted into amplitude variation. So after that, this amplitude variations are again passed through envelope detector, that is through diode and capacitor. Again here we have a original message. So that is the principle in slope detection method. So in tomorrow's class, we observe the balanced frequency discriminator circuit,